Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here, coming at you with this week's power rankings. There's definitely going to be a bit of a surprise here, not in who won, but by how much. I'm just going to tease you with that and say, what's up, Kamel? How are you doing?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another week of the Power Rankings.
And this week, the number one deck just absolutely destroyed everybody else. I mean, absolute domination this week. But before we get into that, we'll kind of explain what we're doing here if you're new to this series. What we do is we track decks throughout the week in tournaments, and then we assign them points based on how they do and how they finish in the tournament, and then we rank them, all right? So if a deck gets a first place finish, it gets 6 points. A second place finish is 4 points. A top 4 is 2 points, and a top 8 is a single point. The tournaments we tracked this week, well, it's basically the Battle Phase series and nobody else. There was 6 Battle Phase series tournaments, the Meta
Oh
Weekly,
man.
the Pharaoh's Cash Tourney, and the Dual World Pro Series. It was actually the Dual World Weekend, but I made all the graphics with the Dual World Pro Series, so we're just going with that. It's the same people.
Right.
I just got the name wrong, but it's Hey Craig and his guys. So, all right. So, are you ready for total domination?
I am ready, guys. Let's
And
get
in
into
first
it.
place with 47 points, second place with 19 points.
Whoa!
Total domination this week was Invoked Neos. Is anybody surprised?
Oh my gosh. And I am not surprised at all. I've said it at
No.
least a couple of the previous videos that Invoked Neos, hands down, is the best deck in Duel Links right now. And the power rankings, they show that. So it's no
Right.
surprise from me.
Well, look at that. Shiranui coming in second place with 19. Not even, I mean, it
Yeah,
doubled
not
up the points and then some.
yeah, more than double. And Shiranui, we'll get into where its points came in when we
Yeah.
go over to that. But without further ado, let's jump right into Invoke Neos. There's
All
so
right.
many tops for it, it doesn't even fit on the spreadsheet.
Well, yeah. I
Oh
mean,
my,
look at the graphic. Look at the graphic.
I can't see the graphic, but it's
Oh,
okay.
okay. That's all right.
It's all right. But yeah, oh my gosh, one, two, three, four tournament wins. It
Yep.
won Anti-Phase, Battle Phase Monday, Battlefield Pop-Up Saturday, and the Pharaoh's Cast tournament. Absolutely insane. And the strength of this deck, once again, in case you guys haven't heard me say it in another video, is this deck is hyper consistent and it can comfortably run all the elements that make a deck amazing, right? It has a way to bring out powerful monsters, monsters that stick on the field, disruptive back row, and counter traps. Counter traps, counter traps, counter traps are so good and oppressive in Duel Links, and they're even better when you can activate them very easily and without detriment to your deck, right? A lot of the counter traps that you see Invoked Neos playing, Ultimate Providence, Divine Wrath, even Rebirth of Parshath sometimes, all of them require you to discard a card. And guess what? Discarding a card is exactly what you want to do in Invoke Neos. You want to discard your Volcanic Shell, activate its effect, pay 500, and then once you pay 500 twice, you can activate your Skill Hutchdo Switcheroo to swap out your shells for something else that you may draw from your deck. Each and every card in the deck can lead to you winning on any turn, and that is why this is the best deck.
Yeah. Complete domination. I don't think Shiranui even had a week this good during
Yeah,
their
no
reign
way.
at the top.
Yeah,
So,
47 points. That is unreal. I think Heroes are the only deck that's come close to that. I think they had 44 one week.
yeah, but I think it's like 18 tops. So
Yeah,
that's just
that is
amazing out there.
pretty crazy.
We'll take a look at the conversion rate here. Overall representation up this week. 140 people played it. Top 32 conversion rate of 29%, and a conversion rate of 10%, double digits into the top 8 for
That's
the
pretty
one
sick.
of the most played decks in the meta right now. That's really high because usually we see single digits, usually 5% and lower when we get into a deck that's played this much.
And you know something that we usually point out when a deck has these big representation numbers and it's a meta deck, you usually see the Shiranui effect. Well, guess what? All the people who were clapping with this deck the first week it was OP, they're back. It won 4 tournaments. They've got the most representation this week in 10%. Like you said, double digits is no easy feat for a meta deck with this much representation.
Yep.
And yeah, that just goes to show how much this deck really does pop off. Getting top eight in a tournament, in a Duel Links tournament, getting top eight means you will have to face Invoked Neos for
Yes.
sure.
All
You
right,
will
moving on to the
definitely.
next deck. I don't know why we're even going to bother, but we will, just because we're already here and I have the graphics made. Shiranui in second place, a distant second place. It actually moved up 7 spots from last week, so they were definitely barely even on the rankings last week, but 19 points, up 10 points. It did win the Meta Weekly, and then it got, a second place in Battle Phase EU and a couple top fours. But the majority of its points again, or finishes again, is in the top eight.
Allow me to get a little toxic real quick,
Uh oh.
because one thing people like to say about battle phase events and free tournaments specifically is that they're meme tournaments. They're not competitive. But guess what, man? Shiranui has 123 participation overall this week, and they've got 19 points. You know what tournament they won? The Meta Weekly. They didn't. They didn't win anything else. They've got 19 points, 17 less decks than Invoked Neos, and they've got like you said, 28 less points. It's not that Shiranui is. It's not that the community tournaments are less competitive, but you are faced with a lot more in community events, right? You're not always accounting for just seeing Invoke Neo, Shiranui, Witchcrafter, and Shiranui falters off when you're not up against those cookie cutter, meta triangle decks that you're
Mm-hmm.
used to seeing in just the Meta Weekly because that's all people play.
I found it interesting the version that won. That guy was running 3 Gazukis and 2 Lancia in his main deck.
Yeah, it was a very niche deck. He was also running 3 Forbidden Lance. So
Yes.
Shiranuis have to alter their playstyle completely in order to survive in the meta right now. And if that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. But they are not pulling in the same results as the actual best deck in the game with that amount of representation. So let's get to the conversion.
Yeah, overall representation, like Kamel said, 123 participants this week. Top 32 conversion rate of 28%. That's actually up a little bit. And the
Hmm.
top 8 conversion rate of 6%. That's up 1%. So that's a little bit more what we're used to seeing with decks with this much representation.
Yeah, they got there. They picked themselves up a tournament win, and then overall, then last week they did do a little bit better across the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Shiranui.
All right, moving on to third place here. Heroes down one
Hmm.
spot from last week, but up in points. They won Battle Phase EU, second in the Meta Weekly. The Battle Phase pop up Saturday. That's what that long acronym is there with their top 4 finish. So yeah, all their finishes were in top 4 and above. So that's
Yeah,
that's that's
so
pretty good.
yeah, pretty good for heroes. They've been a new build has kind of emerged with the one Trunade, one Vion. Some even playing Treacherous Trap Hole, giving them the edge. Definitely heroes experimenting with those semi-limited cards. The need for Vion playing Tune Your Deck has kind of fallen off a little bit. But
Hmm.
I think Heroes being in third here maybe sheerly because of how many points Invoke Neos sucked up
Right.
this week. That's why all the other decks are really close to each other
Yeah.
because Invoke Neos just sucked up so many of the points. But something to bring up. People have been saying that Heroes are the worst of the two OTK decks between
Hmm.
itself and Blackwings. And I don't know if you saw in the opening reel, but Blackwings nowhere near the top
No, they've fallen
this
off.
week.
We declared
So
them the top of the power rankings like a month ago and said they were going to be the best
yeah,
deck ever, and they just completely crashed after that.
so I think it's going to be interesting to see why a deck like Heroes is doing so much better than Blackwings. They have less representation than Blackwings. They have less ways to disrupt your opponent than Blackwings. So what's going on? Are people just not playing that deck? Are people liking Heroes more right now? Heroes has a lot of things against it, like not very accessible. Selection bot cards,
Hmm.
so I wonder what's going on there. Let's look at the
Yeah, let's
conversions.
check that out and see what it says. Representation down from last week by 8 spots, so 43 people playing it. Top 32 down
Mm,
9 finishes down to 11. Conversion rate down 13%. Conversion rate down 5%. So I think it's just getting played less, but the people that are playing it are doing better.
right. That's always something to take a look out for. And yeah, please experiment with heroes because I want to know why people have been saying they're the worst of the two OTK decks, but yet here they are performing in tournaments and Black Wings are not.
So
So
all
I think,
their conversion numbers are down, but all their
right.
finishes are top 4 and
Oh, they're
above.
up.
Yeah,
Right.
so keep that in mind. All right, moving along to Elementsabers in fourth
Right.
place, down 3 spots. They were at the top last week. Their points are down. They did win the Dual World Weekly, not the Pro Series. Sorry, they did take
Mm-hmm.
a top 4 in the Dual World Weekly, and then top 4 in Battle Phase Money and top 8 in Battle Phase EU. So not a lot of points here. They were actually in a tie with the next deck, but they had one more finish than the deck that is below them. So Elementsabers, I think people bounce between this deck and Neos. You know.
Well, I can tell you a couple reasons why I think Invoked Neos is better than Element Sabers, right? Element Sabers have lost access to a very powerful card in the back row meta, and that is Cosmic Cyclone. And it really shows. Invoked Neos has access to Cosmic Cyclone and super oppressive back row. Element Sabers, they have Malehu and their back row
Hmm.
that they have to oppress their opponent. And Malehu gets negated by Ultimate Providence, Divine Wrath, Rebirth of Parshath, and their traps get negated by Rebirth of Parshath and Ultimate Providence, and they can be Cosmic Cycloned. Neos has everything in its kit to deal with the previous best deck, Element Sabers, and I think that's why it's falling off.
I'm starting to think Kamel works for the Society of Neos. He's a salesman. He's promoting the
I was
Neos deck.
look, man, Neos is the best deck until it gets nerfed 3 weeks after Xyz World.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? So if you've got the stuff for Invoke Deals, man, dig in, get in there, get your tournament money from DLE while you can. You've got
Yep.
about 6 more weeks to do so. So yeah,
All right.
and, Element Sabers just falling off. They're not as consistent.
A conversion rates here. Overall representation way down,
Yeah,
minus 32.
right.
Top 32 conversion rate is up a little bit. Their top eights are down, but the conversion rate's up slightly. So
Yeah, you got to remember, Element Sabers were coming off of the post MCS week where Element Sabers did win the MCS, so they got a lot of hype that week. So these may be more around
accurate.
their regular numbers of participation stuff like that.
All right, and then in not last place, but fifth place, the last one we're going to cover today is Ritual Beast. They had the same amount of points as Element Sabers, but they had one less finish. They're up 2 spots from last week, but down 1 point
Hmm.
from the previous week. But they did win the Battle Phase Pop Up Tuesday event.
I see. Let's go into their conversions. I'm interested to see what they've got in
Yeah,
there.
there's not much to say about this deck, right?
Yeah, not too
Representation's up a
much
little
really.
bit, but otherwise their conversion rates are down.
Yeah.
Top 32, 7 people made it to the top 32. That's down 1 spot. Conversion rate down 4% to 14. Top 8 down 3, and then up 7%. So that's not right. How can it be up 7% to 4? Something's not right there. Let me take a look.
Don't worry about it. Ritual Beast Sukune did win the pop up tournament with Ritual
Hmm.
Beast, taking in Walla D, And we were talking about that. You need Walla D to beat Invoke Neos. You need battle traps. People are, for some reason, have not picked up on it yet. You need battle traps to beat Neos, all right?
This just in, it is down 7%, not up
All
7%.
right,
There
there
we
you
go.
go.
So that little that makes a difference. That plus or minus makes a difference. All right. So there you go. Ritual Beasts, they just are what they are.
Hmm.
I don't really know what else to say about them. They'll be around for a long time just because there's no reason to nerf them. I mean, why would you at this point?
Yeah, not at all. Not really.
All right, let's do at a glance here. Overall representation this week. First place is obvious. Invoked Neos 140. followed by Shiranui at 123, and then it kind of drops off to Witchcrafters, which I don't know if they even scored any points this week. If they did, it was just a few. And then followed by Elementsabers, Blue Eyes, and Black Wings, and then on down. So the big one was Invoked Neos this week. Top 8 finishes: Invoked Neos with 14, followed by Shiranui, Blue Eyes, which barely scored any points, Heroes, Cyber Dragons, Witchcrafters, and Dark Magician. I guess we do want to give a shout out to all the Cyber Dragon fans out there.
Yes,
They
I
did win a
do.
tournament. They did win a tournament. So
Cyber Dragon will be my honorable mention for this week. Mello, YGL Mello did win Battleface Friday with Cyber Dragons. So guys, let us know. Do you want us to cover Cyber Dragons if they get enough points in the power rankings, or are they a rogue deck?
they're not
I
a
just,
rogue deck. Get
I
out
just
of
want to
here.
know. I just
Get
want to know
out
what
of
people
here.
think. Every week there's a Cyber Dragon comment like, "Oh, when will you guys cover Cyber Dragons?" So I want to know. Do you guys want to hear about Cyber Dragons in the power rankings? We'll cover them if you do.
It's hard for me to say a deck that was very meta for a long time is now a rogue strategy.
Well, look at Dark Magician, man.
Well, that was a joke last week. My whole thing is if you were a meta deck and now you're no longer that good, you just got power corrupt or whatever. You're in the retirement
Yeah.
home. The rogue deck, that's for the up and comers, man. Those are the new guys. Like I can do it, you know. Like Goki,
Let me
that
in
that
there.
was our
Let me in there. Put
yeah
me in,
that
coach.
yeah Goki was our success story, right? It got in there. It's like I
Right.
can make it, you know, and he fights his way into the meta. So, all
Mhm.
right. Conversion rates this week at the top. Cyber Dragons, believe it or not, with 15% conversion rate. Only
Hey,
they did get a
nice.
victory though, so you got to give them that. And then Invoke Neos at 10%. Heroes, Blue Eyes, Dark Magician at 7, which barely scored any points.
That is
Charity,
nice.
Black Wings.
Seeing Cyber Dragons did make the conversion rate requirement. Getting 26 representation
Yeah,
qualifies them
yeah,
for the highest conversion rate, 15%. Nice.
that's pretty good. And the most victories this week, we already know this, but it's always nice to see it at a glance. Invoke Neos with 4.
Invoke Neos.
Shiranui, Heroes, Ritual Beasts, Elementsabers, and Cyber Dragons all tying with 1 apiece. So
Mhm.
that's the power rankings for this week. We're going to go into do the Rogue Deck video next, and I think it's going to be a short one because as you can see, the meta is solidifying quite a bit here.
It is solidifying for now, you know. I say it every week. We're coming around the corner of Xyz's World, and with Xyz's World, after a couple weeks, we will be getting that ban list to make the new card pool viable. So keep an eye out for that and how much time you have left to bask in this meta as it is.
Well, you just know those Invoke Neos guys are just be like, all right, how do I XYZ summon with this thing now? How do I use my volcanic shell to XYZ summon?
Yeah, they're just gonna figure out something.
Yeah.
Figure out something.
Well, I hope you guys like this video. It's always a fun one to do, and I know I like doing them. So
Yeah.
if you do like it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Make sure to get in the Discord because that's where we host our tournaments, and you will get announcements for them there. Make sure to check out Gamersupps in the description below. Use the link and the code DLE to get 10% off.
I just need to get me some more of that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So that's about it. We're gonna get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Kamel.
Peace out, guys.
See ya.